All right, so all praise to Yahweh, in the name of His Son, Yahweh Shai, in the name of the Holy Spirit. Double honors to my elders, apostles, and the bishops of Great Millstone, otherwise known as GMS, also known as the Prophets of Doom. These are where I have learned this truth, and these are where I am still learning this truth. And also shalom to the remnant and the elect of Israel, Lord willing, I am of that number. Okay, so this video is going to be on the beasts of in Revelation. Okay, so what I did here first was I'm listening to the elders live right now. But what I did first in here was I went to Blue Letter Bible and I typed in beast, image, mark in the search bar. Okay, and these verses came up. All of them are in Revelation. Okay, and there's a point why we type these in to show that they are three three distinguishable things. All right, there is the beast, there's the image of the beast, and there is the mark of the beast. All right, and as brothers, the older brothers that we learned from, or that I learned from, right, have let be known, you have to be able to distinguish between the three, okay, and be able to tell what these three things are. So these verses that came up, right, are going to mention these three things, okay. So let's read. Let me see. There's only 6 verses. All right, so let's read these, and then we'll go into some more information, okay? So Revelation 14:9, it says, "And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, If any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand." Okay, and let me go. Well, you know what? I'm not going to go to the next verse because we're going to go into what the beast is. All right. So this verse that we just read here, again, okay, shows that these things are three things that are distinguishable things between the three. You should be able to tell what each of these things are. Let me make sure I'm using this word right. Okay. Hold on a second here. Okay, I typed in define distinguishable. Okay,
Distinguishable.
distinguishable says adjective, clear enough to be recognized or identified as different. Okay, discernible. So okay, um, so yes, I'm using that in the right context. So I just want to check that out just to be sure. You think you know words until you go in there and look at them. All right, which is something that is stressed by the elders, apostles, and the bishops of Great Millstone. Okay, so let's go here to the next verse. This is Revelation 14:11, again showing these things are three distinguishable things, okay, between the three things. All right, again, the beast, the image of the beast, and the mark of the beast. All right, this is Revelation 14:11. It says, "And the smoke of their torment ascendeth up forever and ever, and they have no rest day or night, who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name." Again, showing that these three things, although they work to the same end, all right, they are of the same mind. All right, they work towards the same goal. Okay, they're all interconnected. They are three distinguishable things. Okay. Revelation 15:2 now, it says, "And I saw as it were a sea of glass mingled with fire, and them that had gotten the victory over the beast and over his image and over his mark and over the number of his name, stand on the sea of glass, having the harps of Yahweh, Baal Shem Yahweh Shai. All right, again, we're just reading these to show that these are three distinguishable things. All right, Revelation 16:2. It says, "And the first went and poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon the men which had the mark of the beast, and upon them which worshipped his image." Whose image? The beast's image. Okay. All right, Revelation 19:20. "And the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet that wrought miracles before him, with which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast, and them that worshipped his image. These both were cast alive into a lake of fire burning with brimstone." Okay, and lastly, Revelation 20 and verse 4. "And I saw thrones, and they sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahushua and for the word of Yahweh, and which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands. And they lived and reigned with the anointed 1,000 years." All right. All six of these verses, okay, if you read them, if you know how to read them, if you have the ears, the eyes to understand, if the Lord has granted you the spiritual power to see and to understand these things, you will be able to tell that these are, again, three distinguishable things: the beast, the mark of the beast, and the image of the beast. Okay. So what we're going to do in this lesson is go over what the beast is. All right. So let's go back here to Revelation 20 or Revelation 13. Excuse me. Revelation 13. Revelation 13. Hold on. Okay. At the top of Revelation 13, the heading reads "The Beast from the Sea." Okay. Revelation 13 and 1. It says, "And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy." Usually when you speak about a name, as a matter of fact, let's go in here and look at this word really quick. All right, hold on a second. Let me get this word for name. Here it is.
Strong's G 3686. Anima. Anima.
Okay. It says name, universal of proper names, right? But then an outline of biblical usage, the second entry says the name is used for everything which the name covers. Okay? Everything the thought or feeling of which is aroused in the mind by mentioning, hearing, remembering the name, i.e., for one's rank, authority, interests, pleasure, command, excellences, deeds, etc. Okay, so what did it say? The names of blasphemy. So let's go see what blasphemy is. Okay.
Strong's G 988. Blasphemia. Blasphemia.
Okay. Slander, detraction, speech injurious, to another's good name. Okay. And outline of biblical uses. Entry 2 is impious and reproachful speech, injurious to divine majesty. Okay. So everything that the name of this beast has to do with, okay, has to do with slander, detraction, speech injurious, even of divine majesty. Yeah, even of blaspheming Yahweh Bahoshem Yahweh Shai. These people work against, okay, Yahweh Bahoshem Yahweh Shai, the beasts and everything that has to do with them. So let's go back here and look at this verse again. All right. It says, and I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. So everything that has to do with blasphemy, okay, this beast and those 7 heads and those 10 crowns, all right, they are likened to that that line, that name, okay, that blasphemous name that they speak against the Lord, right? Everything that is that the Lord set down here, they are against it, okay, and they speak against it. They tell you the wrong names, okay. They defamed his image or blasphemed his image. They blasphemed who are the people of the Lord by putting themselves in here, okay. So when you hear about the beast coming up out of the sea is people, okay. The beast, as we will find out, is a rulership, a dominion, okay. All right, a system, okay, that keeps in the name of blasphemy, okay, that stands for everything that this system stands for, okay. Let's get a verse. Let's get a verse showing you that waters, all right, does represent people. All right, this is also in Revelation. This is 17. Okay. The heading above verse 14, and again I'm in Revelation 16 or 17, verse 14, with the subheading being victory for the Lamb. All right, it reads, "These shall make war with the Lamb." All right, first of all, the Lamb is Yahweh Shai, the anointed. Okay. Now, who are these then? It says, "These shall make war with the Lamb." Okay. The beast and everything that falls up under that name. Okay. All right. It says, "These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them, for he is Lord of lords and King of kings, and they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful." Speaking of the remnant, the elect. Okay. Now here's the point. Revelation 17 and 15 now. It says, "And he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues." Okay. All right. Showing you that waters, all right, people are also known as water. And then back here in Revelation 13, we're reading, and it said the beast, okay, came up out of the sea. So this is a rulership coming up out of people. Okay. All right. So let's go here now to Revelation 13 and 2. And we're still talking about the beast, okay? So it says, "And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority." Okay, this is speaking about different. This is mentioning beasts from different times, kind of. All right, what I mean by that is, "And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard." All right, for instance, the reason why this beast which you saw was like unto a leopard is because this is when the Edomite Empire first started coming into power. All right, with the Greeks, okay, led by Alexander the Great, okay, which is also known or likened to a leopard. Okay, it says, and his feet were as the feet of the bear, because Russia, first of all, the feet is the end of a thing, all right? And Russia is going to head up um, the forces that are going to come against this rulership, okay? Starting with America, okay? America is a part of this beast system, all right? It is the head of this beast system, okay? It is the space of its teeth, its army. This is the capital. This is Babylon the Great, okay? It says, in his mouth is the mouth of a lion, and the dragon gave him his power. The dragon is referring to the ancient Roman Empire, okay? And his seat and great authority, all right? If you look at this place, all right, this is Rome reincarnated. This is the second leg of Rome, okay? And we'll get into that in a second. Let's go to Daniel 2, though. All right, let's go here to Daniel 2. Hold on a second. All right, this is when Daniel was explaining the, well, let's see if we can get up here and read it really quick. Let's see. Hold on a second. All right, man, I wanted to start at the top. Maybe I will in a different video, but let's just stick to the point. All right, that's something that I'm trying to learn how to do. Something that I'm praying, all right, to learn how to do better and better. Okay, so hold on a second. All right, this is when Nebuchadnezzar, okay, went to Daniel to interpret his dream. Okay, he had a vision of a statue or an image in his dream, and Daniel was the only one that could interpret it. Okay, so let me find the point where. Okay, let's start at Daniel 2 and 31. All right, with the subheading being the king's dream. Okay, it says, "Thou, O king, sawest, and behold, a great image. This great image, whose brightness was excellent, stood before thee, and the form thereof was terrible. This image's head was of fine gold, his breasts and his arms of silver, his belly and his thighs of brass, his legs of iron, his feet part of iron and part of clay. Thou sawest till that a stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon his feet that were of iron and clay, and brake them to pieces." All right. It says, "Then was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, and the gold broken into pieces together, broken to pieces together, and became like the chaff of the summer threshing floors, and the wind carried them away, that no place was found for them. And the stone that smote the image became a great mountain and filled the whole earth." Now, this what you were just told here was spanning over a bunch of time. All right, the head being King Nebuchadnezzar, all the way throughout all these other rulerships or dominions, all the way until the Lord Yahushai taking out all of these rulerships, okay, and setting up his kingdom on this earth. Okay. Now let's go ahead and read on. Daniel 2 and 36, with the subheading being the interpretation. Babylon, the first kingdom. There's a difference between Babylon and Babylon the Great. All right. Daniel 2 and 36 says, this is a dream, and we will let the interpretation thereof, and we will tell the interpretation thereof before the king. Thou, O king, art a king of kings, for the God of heaven hath given thee a kingdom, power, and strength, and glory. Now, that usually goes over a lot of people's head, all right? The power of all these dominions were given by the Lord, all right? He sets up kings, he takes down kings, okay? Daniel chapter 2, verse 38 now says, and wheresoever the children of men dwell, the beasts of the field and the fowls of the heaven hath he given into thine hand, and hath made thee ruler over them all. Thou art this head of gold. Okay, and then it says Medo Persia. Let me see if I can get this. Hold on. As you can see here, right, Medo Persia and Greece, because they came after the Babylonian Empire. Babylon, the first kingdom, right, and then Medo Persia and Greece. It was the Medes, right? The stronger of the Medes was a Persian, so it's Medo Persian, all right, and then Greece took Persia down. Okay, all right. So Daniel 2 and 39, and after thee shall arise another kingdom. Okay, all right, Medo, Persia. And after thee shall arise another kingdom inferior to thee, and another third kingdom, all right, Greece, of brass, which shall bear rule over all the earth. All right, again, Alexander the Great, all right, took control over all the known world at that point. Okay. Now, what's this fourth beast? Or what's this fourth part of the statue? Which is the fourth beast. Okay. But right here is showing you that these beasts are kingdoms. All right. Dominions, rulerships. All right. Rome. Daniel 2 and 40 now. And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron. For as much as iron breaketh in pieces and subdueth all things, and as iron that breaketh all these, shall it break in pieces and bruise. And whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided. But there shall be in it of the strength of the iron, forasmuch as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay. All right, this is speaking in this time now, all right? And as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. And whereas thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay. Okay. And then again, we brought up, that stone that smashed these kingdoms is Yahushai's kingdom. Okay. All right. So now, hold on. So now, Revelation deals with the Edomite Empire. All right. Edomite Empire, which started with the Greeks. All right. This is why you have a lot of people saying civilization started with the Greeks. All right. But there were civilizations before the Greek Empire. What they are speaking of is their civilization. All right. Their rulership. All right. This beast that we are hearing of in Revelation 13. All right. That, what did it say? Was like unto a leopard, because it started with the Greeks. As a matter of fact, here in the Apocrypha, all right, in First Maccabees, hold on. Let's see if I can just go there. Let's see. First Maccabees. All right. First Maccabees here. I'll do it again. All right. First Maccabees, chapter 1. And it happened after that Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Chetam, had smitten Darius, the king of the Persians and Medes. We read about that in Daniel 2. What came next? The Greeks, right? That he reigned in his stead the first over Greece. Okay? You can see, Lord willing, you can start to see now these things are going hand in hand. It's just a matter of if the Lord deems you worthy of knowing the truth. Okay? So let's go back here now. Now let's speak about, because after the Greeks came the Romans. Okay, after the Greeks came the Romans, but these are all starting with Greece. This is all the Edomite Empire. All right. So Revelation 13:3, and I saw one of his heads, as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wandered after the beast. Okay, going into the Roman Empire. Okay, being taken down, or so the world thought. All right, the Roman Empire did not go down all the way. This is, here in America, right, is that Roman Empire, the second leg of the Roman Empire. All right, this is Rome reincarnated. We spoke about reincarnation being biblical. Okay, this place has the spirit of Rome. All right, you can look up the similarities between America and Rome. All right, whether that be its rise or its downfall, it's the same. There's a lot of things that are similar, and nothing is coincidence. Okay. Now, this healing is telling you also that, Rome did not fall all the way. There was something called a Renaissance period. Okay. Renaissance, let's see if we can get the definition. That word Renaissance here, let's get the etymology. Oops. Etymology of Renaissance.
Renaissance.
Let's see. It says the revival of art and literature under the influence of classical, right, or Roman models in the 14th through 16th centuries. Really, it's up through the the 17th century, which is the 17th century. All right. It says a revival or renewed interest in something. Similar words to this. Now listen to this. Similar words are revival, renewal, resurrection, reawakening, re-emergence. All right, what is this? The reawakening of, or re-emergence of, or the resurrection of the Edomite Empire. All right, the Edomite manner of life. Okay, which all these things Rome took from Greek. Okay, the Edomites even learned from uh, uh, Egypt. It learned from, these things go back to even what is that? Samaria also. All right, their ways. But what happens is they are the wicked. All right, they took these things and they used these and they overstepped their boundaries. All right, but this is the beast that we're speaking of in Revelation, the Edomite Empire, the Edomite rulership. Okay, that's what the Renaissance was always about. That's what the Renaissance was about. Now you also have a medical Renaissance. Hold on a second. All right, you can tell by the architecture. Okay, the architecture, the medical Renaissance, the art. All right, the culture. All right, the way of life. That's what this is really about. All right. So medical Renaissance. It says Renaissance of medicine flourishing roughly between the 1400 and 1700s, marked by a period of significant advancement in European medical knowledge, building upon and challenging classical Greek and Roman ideas. All right, let me see if I can. All right, so there's a lot that surrounds this Renaissance. Okay, it is a reawakening, a rebirth of the Edomite Empire. Okay, the Roman Empire fell. All right, it went into the Dark Ages. What happened during the Dark Ages? You don't really hear too much about that. Okay, and then came this Renaissance, the rebirth. All right, and we are still in that uh, period of time. All right, this is the healing of that head. All right, Revelation 13:3, and I saw one of his heads, as it were, wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wandered after the beast. Okay, let's jump down here to verse 11. It says, "And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb." All right, these two-party systems, which also came from Rome. Okay, like a lamb, is they act all docile. Right, they act lowly when it comes voting time or a season or whatever. And then guess what? When they get into power, they speak as a dragon, which is where these draconian ways come from. These draconian laws, the tightening up of people. All right, the control of the people. There was something else I was going. Oh, of the seven, even the eighth. Let's see what comes up here. Okay, hold on a second here. Verses 21. All right, hold on a second here. Okay, check this out. This is Revelation 17 and 11. Okay. All right, let's go to Revelation 17 and man, this is speaking of America. Revelation 17. All right. So let me start at 9. It says, "And here is the mind which hath wisdom. The seven heads are seven mountains, all right, or seven kings, all right, seven rulers, all right, on which the woman sitteth, the woman being America, okay? And there are seven kings, five are fallen, and one is, and the other is not yet come. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space. And the beast that was and is not, okay, Rome was and is not, even he is the eighth, and is of the seven, and goeth into perdition." All right, this is America that is speaking of. All right, okay, it even goes further and says, "And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. These have one mind, and shall give their power and strength unto the beast." All right, lesser powers working along with America and this beast system, the Edomite rulership, okay, helping them stay atop, stay afloat, push the wickedness. All right. because they are too under Esau's divination, all right, his craftiness. Okay, so there are people working with Esau Edom. It is only Israel alone, all right. Everyone else is against Israel, and they're in our power, all right. So these other nations are also working with Esau Edom, but Esau Edom is the head, the wicked. Okay, so let me go back here. And America is going to be dealt with, man. Okay, let me start at 13 and 11 again. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon, and he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. All right, everything that Rome pushed, America pushes. All right, this is Rome reincarnated. You can look at these holidays. You can look at the manner of life of America. All right. Okay. Look at the manner of life of America. Look at all the wickedness it pushes. And when I mean pushes, it actually pushes these things. Okay. And if you try to come against this place, what happens? It threatens you with military action or just doing stuff to destroy these other countries. All right. And the people within its walls, within its borders. All right. This is verse 13. It says, and he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. We know about Nagasaki, Hiroshima. The brothers always talk about Kosovo and Bosnia. All right. We know about the DEWs, or direct energy weapons. Okay. It says, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beasts, saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword and did live. Now, how do they say this? All right, by going about things the way that they do and being on top. All right, no one has took these people down. So what does that tell the world? To be like them, to worship them, and to be like them, to walk in their ways. All right, but the beast, okay, Lord willing, you can see that the beast is a rulership, a dominion. And this specific one in Revelation that is going to be in power when the Lord takes them out of power, right, is the dominion and the rulership of Esau Edom. Okay? Esau Edom. So I just wanted to go into what the beast was. Hopefully this came through as sincere and edifying. And with that, all praise to Yahweh, in the name of the Son, Yahweh Shai, in the name of the Holy Spirit. All right, double honors to the elders, apostles, and the bishops of Great Millstone, also known as GMS, okay, for short, but also, all right, known as the prophets of doom. These are where I have learned this truth, and these are where I am still learning this truth. And also shalom to the remnant and the elect of Israel. Lord willing, I'm of that number, and Lord willing, we'll see you in the next video. Shalom.